Good evening. The critical relationship between Canada and the United States officially entered a new phase today as two allies who don't normally struggle to find common ground had to get over some pretty big gaps. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau traveled to Washington for his first meeting in person with U.S. President Donald Trump. The two leaders appeared to get along quite well, despite completely different perspectives on some major issues like immigration and trade. They held 4 events together inside the White House, all very orchestrated and both on their best behavior. We have the visit covered from all angles, starting with CTV's Joyce Napier, who takes us through the day. Joyce.
Lisa, Justin Trudeau spent less than a day here in Washington working on Canada's most important relationship.
A handshake meant to break the ice, a firm pat on the shoulder, and Donald Trump and Justin Trudeau disappear into the White House. The inevitable photo op in the Oval Office without the usual exchange of pleasantries before the two get down to business, a peek into the new relationship between two very different leaders.
Any day I get to visit our southern neighbors is a good day.
Our two nations share much more than a border. We share the same values, we share the love, and a truly great love of freedom.
Scripted words of welcome coming from a president who is everything but scripted. For Trudeau, this first summit is a delicate diplomatic dance.
Very warm.
His open-door approach to Syrian refugees clashes with Trump's immigration ban, and when asked about it, the Prime Minister treads carefully.
The last thing Canadians expect is for me to come down and lecture another country on how they choose to govern themselves.
And when Trump was asked if he considered the thousands of Syrian refugees in Canada to be a potential threat at his northern border, he too chose his words.
Can never be totally confident.
His greater concern is those coming into the U.S. from the southern border.
We are going to get the bad ones, the really bad ones. We're getting them out.
Trudeau's main objective in coming to Washington, making sure Canada doesn't become a casualty of Trump's protectionist policies. The president has called NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, the worst deal ever that should be scrapped. But today he toned it down with respect to Canada.
We'll be tweaking it. We'll be doing certain things that are going to benefit both of our countries.
But the real opposition to NAFTA and the possible fight will come from Congress, Trudeau's last Washington stop. A meeting with the powerful Speaker of the House of Representatives.
You're our biggest trading partner.
It's Congress that may consider raising tariffs and imposing a border tax.
We're glad to have the Canadian Prime Minister here.
Considering the potential pitfalls, this visit went well, a safe first step, at least for now. NAFTA negotiations may eventually change that. Lisa?
Yes, they certainly downplayed their differences, at least in front of the cameras today, Joyce. But what are you hearing anything about the tone in their private talks together today?
Well, the two leaders spent only 20 minutes together alone, without any aides, without any ministers or secretaries, so we don't know what happened then. But Canadian officials seem to be quite satisfied with the way this visit went. No embarrassments, no awkward moments, so they were pretty happy, they're pretty smug. And you know, Justin Trudeau came bearing a gift, a very personal gift. He gave Donald Trump an old picture of him with his father, Pierre Elliott, way back when in New York City at the Waldorf Astoria. An interesting gift to give Donald Trump a picture of himself. That is probably a way to please the president, and also a way to show that this relationship goes back a long way.
And that 1981 picture was definitely a surprise, maybe even to Trump. Thanks, Joyce.